2 years ago, Seattle-based fashion designer Luly Yang was living with family in Vienna, Austria, when she received a call from Alaska Airlines inviting her to work on a new uniform collection for the company's 20,000-plus employees. Luly eagerly accepted the offer and returned to Seattle to begin work on one of the most groundbreaking projects of her career. Recently, I had the opportunity to sit down with Luly and discuss her recent partnership with the airline, and we both agreed that you too would enjoy listening in on our conversation. So without further ado, let's go right into the interview. So I've read that you were raised by a family of artists, architects, and engineers, and that you were designing your own gowns and silhouettes by the age of 6. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your childhood experience and perhaps share with us, too, how you first came to fall in love with the art that today you do so well?
Well, 6 is a very young age, and I remember art has always been an intuitive form of entertainment for our whole family. And my mother is an art teacher in a college, and my father's an engineer, electrical engineer. My grandfather was an architect. So it was part of our growing up environment for our whole family. So it was just a natural evolution that many of us became designers or in the field of design. I still recall sketching dresses at a very young age, at age 6, with my cousins as a pastime. That's what we did on the weekends. There was just a natural love for it, and it felt right.
Now, were you involved with art in grade school or any other similar extracurricular activities?
I was. It was my favorite class, of course, when the art involved or sculpture. I love music as well. I studied piano since I was 5, and so music's part of our lives as well. So art and music's a big part.
Now, I've heard that fashion design has not been your only endeavor in life. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I read that in college you were pursuing a degree in graphic design. Is that correct?
Correct. I attended the University of Washington, and I studied graphic design. And when I graduated, my first job was with an architecture firm, and I fell in love with architecture. So I stayed in that field for a few years, working in the field of architecture in graphics. A few years later, I realized that I love design. I love what I was doing, but there was something I wanted to do more, and I wanted to go back to that softness of fashion, the textiles, and to be able to work with people one-on-one. And I believe that fashion design and the products that fashion designers produce are one of the most intimate products that touches people's lives. Absolutely. And it really affects the human experience. And that was important to me. And I had a great passion for creating wonderful experiences for people, memorable experiences, and whether it's how we deliver our services or how we design and communicate with our clients, putting the right garment on them. That I discovered through my design career that was very, very important to me, the human experience. And I felt fashion was even that much closer than what I was doing. Graphics was wonderful. I still do it for myself. I still love it. And you can see it in some of my fashion inspirations and my concept that graphics is everywhere. So it's still with me. It's just now in a textile form.
So even through all your adventures with graphic design, I've heard that there is one particular dress that rekindled your passion for fashion?
Yes, I know. That's the dress I'm known for, that Monarch Dress. And that was the first dress that I made and designed that was publicly seen. Prior to that, I made things for myself and designed for myself. I never really showed it. And that was the first one because it was actually, I was invited to be part of a show to benefit Art with Heart, and it's an organization here in the Northwest. A group of graphic designers got together, and we all each made one dress out of paper. Okay. And that first Monarch Dress was actually made out of poster paper. It was a cardstock, offset printed. It looks like metal. I don't know if you've seen a picture of it. It looks almost like bent metal. But then a few years after that, it became my iconic look and my iconic dress, and I soon created a fabric textile version of it.
So how would you describe that moment? Was it a pivotal one?
It was a pivotal, I guess it was the catalyst for what I'm doing now. It's the beginning of my fashion career, that whole process of designing a product, a garment that then comes alive once you place it on a living body was magical for me. And at that moment, when I saw the Monarch gown on the model, and she's just, this is just in my little apartment when I did it at that time. She walked away and then came back to me, and I saw the gown in motion, and it was it gave me goosebumps. It was magical, and that at that moment I said, I have to do this. I want to do this every day. That was what kind of woke me up and switched my medium from graphics and architecture over to fashion.
Yeah, I think those are some of the most important moments in the person's life, because those are the moments when you can honestly say, you know what, I actually know what I'm doing.
Right, and you found your place. You know, you feel like you're at the right place at the right time, doing exactly you're put on earth to do.
Since launching your personal brand, what do you think has become your quintessential element of design? Or in other words, when a person sees one of your designs, what would prompt them to say, ooh, that speaks Luly Yang, or yep, that's definitely a Luly Yang dress?
There's a few ways I would describe my work, and because I do couture, a lot of the inspiration comes from my clients, whether it's for one person or for Alaska Airlines for 19,000. That whole design process is the same, and it starts really with the human experience once again. And really, my designs, I believe, are soulful. I think they have a soul, and they're born from knowing exactly who I'm designing for, and the character of that person or that particular company that I'm designing for, like Alaska, is embedded. It's embedded. The fingerprint of it, the character, the personality, the history, all of that is soulfully and thoughtfully designed and put into the garment. I think that's what I'm known for, is soulful, thoughtful designs. And on the aesthetic side, I'm known for timeless designs that are not super trendy. You can look at it today, and in 10 years, and it's still current. With pieces that are soulful, they will always be timeless because they're thoughtfully designed. And I think good design has to come with a very strong foundation of a place.
Right.
So you recently linked arms with Alaska Airlines and were offered quite the opportunity. Would you like to share with us a little bit about how that partnership came about in the first place?
Well, Alaska called me 2.5 years ago, and they told me about the project, and I became immediately very interested in it. At the time, I was actually living in Austria. I was about to come back, and it was great timing. Actually, I expedited my return for this project. I wanted to work on it. It was such a special hometown company for me because Alaska is based in Seattle. I have flown with them since so many years. So I know them well from the customer and passenger perspective. And so that's how it all started. But it's been a pretty amazing 2 years together with them and the people who make up the company. It's such an honor to design for a company that I respect so much and that I want to play a part in their growth. They're growing so quickly right now. Now they're merged with Virgin. Yes. Yeah. So how exciting is that for a designer to take part in that growth and in the evolution of a brand that I believe in? I mean, that feeling again, that magical moment that I had many years ago with the Monarch happened with Alaska when this happened. So it's happening again, and I once again I feel like I'm exactly where I should be, doing exactly what I should be doing.
My next question is regarding the inspiration for the Alaska Airlines uniforms. You mentioned earlier that you draw your inspiration from the people you work with, but when we're talking about a major company with 19,000 employees, how do you reconcile all the information and the personalities and then present them in a uniform that embodies such a large and growing company?
Well, like I said, the foundation's really built by knowing the people. And aesthetically, as a designer, we always work with visuals. For the key inspiration for the visual elements are coming from aerodynamic movement, so the way objects travel through space. And my design team and I looked very thoroughly at how. Have you seen? If you look up aerodynamic movement, there's the way they measure it. It's actually really beautiful illustrations and graphics that are charting how objects travel through space. If you look at car design, they do that a lot in aviation. So we looked at those lines and we took those beautiful graphic lines and we introduced that to the whole collection. And you see little bits and pieces of that fingerprint throughout the whole collection. And I think on the runway it's difficult for you to see it, but in the seams you see the wrap dress the FAs are wearing. It has that curve in it, and the scarves have that if you were to open it. So all those lines are coming from aerodynamic movement and traveling through space.
Wow, that was quite an impressive technique, and how perceptive of you to hone in on that. That's incredible.
It's a little bit of graphics left in me.
Right.
Well, that's the amazing thing, because when you're able to draw from the visual experiences that we experience in our lives, you can come up with something that is so creative and so imaginative and so inspirational to anyone who sees it. So in your opinion, what do you think is the theme of the new Alaska Airlines uniform? I personally believe that theme and inspiration are two separate items. I believe that inspiration is what prompts creativity. I believe a theme is what keeps the creativity unified. So if I were an Alaska Airlines passenger and I show up at the airport, I see the gate workers, I see the flight attendants and the pilots, I see the maintenance crews out on the tarmac. What is the central theme of their uniform?
Well, I can speak of a kind of a central style theme. Conceptually, that inspiration is really what I talked about, the aerodynamic. We're talking about a theme throughout the whole collection. I call it West Coast modern. And West Coast modern to me means polished. It's professional, but it's polished comfort. Yeah, it's not super dressy. It's not overly formal.
Right.
And it's about flexibility, transitional clothing pieces, the line that kind of moves with you, flexible, and it takes you from east to west coast, north to south, through different climates, so that they're all designed to be layered. It's very much a kind of a West Coast flair, I feel.
Yes, I totally agree. Coming originally from the West Coast, I understand completely how ubiquitous certain styles are out there and how ubiquitous Alaska Airlines is out west. Now that I live on the East Coast, I know many of my East Coast readers and followers are probably not as keen on how prevalent Alaska Airlines is as an airline to West Coast readers, but I know with this new design, it will definitely, whenever the reader sees it, I'm sure they will connect with it immediately and fall in love with it.
Yeah, I love especially the knitwear pieces of sweaters. Mm-hmm. We have a quarter zip for men that I absolutely love, and it's made in two different yarn colors, two different blue colors that are really beautiful when you look at it close up, and the hand feels so good, and the cardigans for the women and men both. I love I think knitwear is very much it can be very professional, but it is so comfortable, and the employees are working hard and moving, and you know, they bend and lift quite a bit, and these are key pieces that I think will pull it all together and make it real transitional and flexible for them.
So if I'm not mistaken, Alaska Airlines hosted a big reveal party recently where they invited many of the employees and their families to see the brand new uniforms up close and personally. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how do you feel the reception was at that event?
I thought it was very positive. It was very positive. And I know in the video, I think the video, it doesn't capture the whole complete environment and energy of the room, but there were 2,000 employees there. And there was so much positive energy during the show, supporting their fellow colleagues that are on stage. And when they came off the stage, the 38 models split up into four corners, and then the 2,000 employees went and joined them to look at it and touch and feel. I thought that was, you know, when they got to touch and feel and see it closer, it's actually much better than just on the runway. The runway is really dramatic, but it's, you know, that's like stage. But once you get down to it and at the ground level and you see it up close, I think that's where the connection really happens and the understanding.
That bomber jacket for the pilots is fierce. I want it. I want to go get my pilot's license, and I want to wear that jacket.
I am loving its sleek, modern look. We are the airline of the West Coast, and we have a West Coast vibe. This is awesome.
So, what are some of your favorite American destinations and why? And then after you answer that, what are some of your favorite international destinations and why?
I do love I love different places for different reasons, and it's difficult for me to like say one place. But I love Seattle, and that's why I'm still living here. And I actually love I love Laguna Beach down in California. I went there once just for the first time a few years ago, and I love the that casual feel about it. It seems like when I arrive there, my heart rate drops 10 beats in a minute. I step onto the beach and I'm relaxed. And I think I'm also kind of a beach person. I don't live in one, but that's where I tend to escape to when I do have free time. So anywhere coastal cities with waterfront that connects, that is on the ocean. I like to be on the ocean. I'm from Taiwan originally, and I love the fact that I'm in Seattle and I'm on the ocean, and if I just like walk over to the waterfront to the beach and I dip my finger into the water, I'm touching Asia, where my ancestors are from. Like everything touches each other. The water connects us all, and that's why for me, coastal cities that's on the ocean, I love that. I like all beach towns. That's my prerequisite, I guess. It just has to have a beach or have an ocean. Another place I'd love to go to are the Hawaiian Islands. So it's actually not hard for us. There's so many flights direct from Seattle.
Why?
I know. It's like I can hop on Thursday, get there, spend 3 days there, and hop back and go back to work. So it's like paradise. Really, and not far away. It's about 5.5 hours flight from here.
I will admit that is one thing I do miss about the West Coast. Easy access to exotic Pacific destinations. Out east, we have access to Europe and the East Coast, but to go to Hawaii or Alaska or Japan or anything further, it does require a lot more travel time and a lot more exertion on our part. I know one of my intentions is to visit Alaska, at least on 2 occasions. I plan on one trip to visit the southern portion from Ketchikan to Juneau up to Skagway, and then go on another trip up to the northern part to see Mount Denali and other northern destinations.
Maybe you can spot, I don't know when you're doing it, but the wear testers are wearing their garments the next 2 months, and I look for the wear testers in their new uniforms.
That sounds like a great plan, and when I see the flight attendants, I'll tell them, hey, you know what? I know the person who made those. So anyway, a couple more questions. Because my blog does focus a lot on music, I still need to ask you a couple of musical questions. Do you have any favorite styles or genres of music? And if so, do you have any particular favorite artists or actual song titles? Do you have any go-to jams for when you're working and creating?
I have a pretty diverse and eclectic taste, I think, when it comes to music. I like everything from classical to contemporary electronic music. I love pop too. And recently, during kind of preparation for the Reveal fashion show, I was listening to Disney. I think Disney animation music and musicals are really fun for me, and
I love that.
They're so colorful.
They are.
And I think part of being a innovative and good designer is it's keeping that childhood curiosity always alive.
Yes,
and not forgetting, not ever just accepting things as they are, but think about what else can we do differently.
Right.
So did you see Trolls? Did you see that movie?
Yes.
Okay, do you know the song by Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling? Okay, that song, I could wake up really, really, really tired in the morning, and I play a song like that, and it just kind of picks it up. It just picks me up, and it's really happy. And I think a lot of the children's animation movies have the most beautiful musical voices. that are really fun. They're really, really fun. They're uplifting. And so those are real playful. And currently I'm enjoying those. But I also like a lot of other genres as well. I always say the music can fill a room. I mean, you walk into a room, or you try to watch a movie without the sound. I know. It's missing a huge environmental kind of inspiration from it. But you walk into a room and you turn on the music and immediately fills it with the mood that it creates. So in our design studio, we always have music on of different types of music, depending on what we're working on, depending on what mood and what concept we're working on. We would adjust the music to the mood.
So one last question. What advice or encouragement would you give to my young readers or followers who might be interested in pursuing their dreams in the arts or fashion or really any industry for that matter? What advice would you give to any young person who might want some guidance in the direction they want to follow?
I say follow what your heart tells you. It's and find your magic. Find that magic. Find that magic that I found in the middle of my career, and find that, and it could happen at any moment when you least expect it. It's like when you find love for the first time, you don't expect it, and then when you find that, you need to just pursue it. No matter what other people say, you just have to just go for it and be brave about it, and know that it's going to, even though it's your passion, it's going to hurt. Sometimes it's going to be really hard. And when challenges hit you, your love and passion for it's going to help you through.
Before we go, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share, or anything that you would just like to tell the world?
Tell the world? Well, I guess I can tell the world that I hope everyone finds so much joy in what they do every day as I do mine, and I feel very blessed. I do what I love every day, and I feel blessed that I can influence and affect people in the way they feel about themselves in a positive way. And I hope that feeling in turn will allow them to live happier lives, and that will allow them to pass that energy on.
Well, Luly, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you had a fantastic time chatting.
It's so lovely to get to know you, to speak with you about something that we're both passionate about. It's always inspirational to connect with people who have the same passions.
Oh, I totally agree. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in learning more about Luly Yang, you can visit her website at lulyyang.com, which is LULYYANG.com. To learn more about Alaska Airlines and their most West Coast destinations in America, visit alaskaair.com to book flights, learn more about destinations and routes, and more. If you want your own little piece of Alaska Airlines, then why don't you check out the link I've provided in the description box below. Yes, I do receive a small commission. Did you enjoy that? Because I know I sure did. If you want to see more content like this, then I encourage you to like this video, share your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, this is Adrian D. Holmes wishing you a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!